Hello and welcome to the Cup of Triathlon podcast, the first show for 2016. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors, oxygenaddict.com, fueledbycake.com, myprotein.com and raceforce.co.uk. Helen, Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, Rob. How are you?
I am excellent. I'm full of the joys of spring. I'm full of the joys of winter anyway. It hasn't technically been light for about 3 days, has it? But it's all good.
We're here. And
we're here and we're bouncing, aren't we?
We are bouncing. A bit grey outside, but hey, we can deal with grey.
Hells, I've missed this.
I know.
I thought it was going to be nice to have a break last week, and you kind of look forward to a holiday in about a week. And I was like, I miss my routine. I miss talking to Helen. I miss putting the podcast out.
I woke up this morning, and I thought, yes, it's the first podcast of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah. And just before, about half an hour ago, before you phoned me up, I had that sort of sense of excitement. I was about to say that you used to get when you went back to school. No, you never got it when you went back to school. But something, say if you're going on a school trip, that excitement, yeah?
I know what you mean.
And I was like,
yes,
we get to do fun stuff again.
I was really down yesterday for about half an hour, and then she said, what's the matter? And I was like, it's not the first day of school tomorrow. I don't have to go back. Get in! We kind of danced around the kitchen going, I don't have to go to school. So if anyone's thinking about quitting the job, highly recommended. Excuse me.
That's
man.
good. No, I definitely did have the end of holiday blues yesterday. Ugh.
Oh, bless you.
It was not very nice. But I had a good break. After working up until Boxing Day, and then I tell you, it was very.
That's work day on Christmas Day, didn't you?
Yeah, it was so strange. It was so strange.
I saw that tweet of you in your office, and it was like
no one there.
Like that scene from a movie after the apocalypse when there's nobody in and just you with your mug of coffee.
That was it. Oh yeah, I thought they might even give us a I don't know. They might organise some nice coffee maybe, or maybe a croissant for Christmas Day or something.
There was nothing.
There was nothing. The coffee machine was working, and my colleague provided a satsuma.
That's the best you can hope for.
Yeah.
Colleague provides a satsuma.
Hilarious. Anyway, that was done and dusted. I escaped at lunchtime on Boxing Day, and then we had a good break. Went up to Scotland.
Yeah, now tell me about that. Where did you go?
Well, we went between Dumfries and Stranraer, and to a little place called Gatehouse of Fleet, which was basically, there was not a whole load going on, but that was good because it meant that I actually chilled out. I'm not very good at chilling out. So
properly unplugged, did you?
Properly unplugged. We went walking, didn't take bikes, didn't take swim costume. We only did 2 runs, so again, that's pretty good for me, and then walked all the other days, and got very wet, but it was brilliant. Really, really good. Watched films, just generally chilled out.
Just had the as promised end of season break.
Yeah.
Where you just kind of relax and you get all refreshed and ready to go again when you come back.
Yeah. Ready
to hit the training this week.
That's exactly it. I've already done my swim and done my run for today.
And a little birdie tells me that you have entered into the Open 5 adventure.
Well, possibly. That might have been your influence.
Really? Oh, golly, it's fun.
Semi your influence. And then, Raceforce Kate and myself are teaming up to be Cup of Raceforce team.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you were racing with Kate.
Yeah, Kate and I are doing it together.
That's brilliant.
I don't know if she knows that I genuinely have only ever been on a mountain bike twice.
Is your handling as bad as mine is?
Probably worse.
Well, don't worry. The parting shot that Warren Mason gave to me when I was asking him for tips for the next one, he said, just be aware, it's a very technical mountain bike section. So you've got nothing to worry about there.
Oh,
if Warren Mason thinks it's technical.
No, honestly, is it going to be really...
I really don't know. He just said it's a technical mountain bike course. So the one I did, you were riding around on roads and it was like, happy days, this is ace.
See, that's what I was thinking. Oh no, this might be a big mistake. Anyway,
you'll be fine.
I can get off my bike and I can run. It's fine.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, you and Raceforce Kate then? That's cool.
Yep, we've signed up. It's either going to be fine and I survive, or it's going to be Interesting.
Well, listen, talking about Race Force, I bumped into Kate the other day and we were chatting, and she's doing loads of new stuff this year, as well as doing trips out to triathlons. Have you seen she's also organising trips out to some of the big bike races as well, some of the big like
Yeah,
sportives out in Europe.
they're doing Flanders,
So
aren't they?
yeah, Tour of Flanders on the 3rd of April. So if anyone's interested in, that's a hard event, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cobbles and ugh, scary, scary business. So she thinks it's the way to go. Get yourself entered in a big European sportive. So I've never done anything like that, but it sounds brill.
That it would be good. It would be really
Yeah,
good.
so get on there and check it out on raceforce.co.uk if you're interested in getting yourself over to one of those big events. I think they're doing one for the Tour de Yorkshire as well. I think I saw mention they've
Yes,
organised
I
a
think.
hotel and it's 2 or 3 days of riding, isn't it?
Yeah, so that'd be really cool. And then aren't they riding as well from Paris to Palais in France, i.e.
Is
London
that
to Paris?
right?
Yeah,
She's going to be a fit little cookie at the end of the year, isn't she?
it is. Watch out, Ironman Barcelona.
Wow, cool
Yeah.
stuff. Right, come on, let's talk about what's happened in the world of triathlon over the last 2 weeks since we spoke to our listeners.
Okay, well, the answer is not a whole load. However,
A
you
lot of
sort of,
mince pies.
yeah, quite a lot of mince pies. My goodness. Thankfully, the mince pies have gone, so there's no temptation, but we do have a whole big Christmas cake, so we might have to work our way through that one. Right, so I'm going to give you one bit of little news here. Will Clark has, he's again with BMC Ethics Triathlon for another season. Um,
Oh,
so
good. I'm
that's
glad
really
about
good.
that because he had a horrible season last year, didn't he, with injury and illness and one thing and
He
another.
did. He said, "Laters 2015, not my favourite year, but excited to see what 2016 brings." So,
I'm really glad that they've stuck with him because it would have been easy for them to turn around and drop him.
yep,
I know they've taken on David McNamee as well, haven't
yep,
they?
yep.
He was obviously a great big hot shot, but it's good to see they've invested in Will because he's got a 20 odd year history in
That's it.
triathlon and was European junior champion. And I think when he gets it right with his training and his health,
Yeah,
he's going to be really one to watch over the half iron and Ironman distance. So it'd be good to see how he goes. And it's great he's got that backup behind him, isn't
yeah,
it?
definitely. And perhaps having David McNamee as well on board will kind of spur him on and you know, keep him sort of on his
Mm,
toes too.
keep him honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Racing for the glory of being the fastest UK based athlete.
Exactly. So I reckon it can only be a
Yeah,
good thing.
I reckon you're right.
So that was one little bit of news. Big bit of news a couple of days ago was that Chrissy Wellington was awarded an OBE. Already she had an MBE, so an OBE to go with her other gong. So that was for services to
Brilliant.
obviously to sport and also to charity because she does so much. And she's really, really got Junior Park Run pretty much up and running.
That is really cool, actually. I don't think it's easy to imagine, isn't it, that Chris has disappeared off the scene completely.
Mm.
But I don't think people realise how much she does, and the junior parkrun thing's really taken off, isn't it?
Oh, it's
So
massive.
that's her little baby, isn't it?
Yep, yep. Head of participation.
We took Xander down to do one, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, how was it?
He did his first little junior parkrun, bless him. 4 years old in a week.
That's amazing.
It was brilliant, I've got to say. It
Oh,
was it was a real mix of like 10 and 11-year-olds who were taking it really seriously and racing each
yeah,
other,
yeah.
and 4 and 5-year-olds who were just kind of bouncing along next to mum and dad.
Oh,
And he did really well for about a kilometre, and then he kind of said, "Oh, it's too far. We're like at the
oh.
furthest end of the course," and he's being followed by the marshals who are like clucking around him, going, "Oh, is he okay? Let's pick him up." I was going, "He'll be fine."
Get him to the end. Come on.
So we gave him a little snuggle, and he got a second wind when he got wind of the fact he was in last place, and he wasn't having that. So he had a little charge up the finishing straight and overtook three of them.
Yes, it's the way to do
So
it. Sprint
it was
finish.
really, really cool. It was
Oh,
like hats off to the organisers of the Junior Park Run in Warrington. If anyone's in the northwest, it's at the Orford Park complex, and it's all on nice little paths, so the kids don't even get the shoes dirty. So
and
I'm dead
how far
impressed
is
with
it,
that.
Rob?
2K,
Brilliant. That's.
2K.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's such a good thing. So, yeah, brilliant. And congratulations to Chrissy Wellington, OBE, new mum,
Yeah,
and yeah, superstar. And she signed a couple of the last Fueled by Cake books, Rob. You know, I said
I
last
saw
time,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So Last time we spoke, I think I had just transferred over £7,000 to the three charities that Fueled by Cake was raising money for. And I knew that 3 books had been sent to Chrissy Wellington to sign, but they were sent about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, and they just didn't ever turn up. And I was thinking, oh no. Anyway, heard on Christmas Eve, the books have arrived, they've been signed, they're back in the post. And I was like, yes.
Ace.
And so lots of lovely, kind people. Rob Garner has paid £40 for a signed Chrissy Wellington book. Chris Brody has paid £20 for a signed Chrissy Wellington book. And so that's an extra £72 that has been sent to the hospice from Fueled by Cake. So that's fantastic.
That's brilliant. That's really good, and well done you for raising £7,000. That's a not to be sneezed at amount of money, mate. Well done.
Thank you. No,
Big pat on the back for you.
thank you very much. Thank you. Right.
You're generally an all-round wonderful person, aren't you, Hels?
No,
I've got to say.
I don't think so, Rob. Don't think so.
Do you know what? On Christmas Eve, Hels, I came back with my family
Yeah.
from a little journey out in the car, and on my doorstep was a little jar of Christmas nut butter, and the label said, "Cup of Try nut butter." You little sneaker.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, listeners, if this ever should get released, I'm going to stop badgering you now to go commercial with this. It is. What's in that stuff? It is the tastiest nut butter I've ever had in my life.
I was quite pleased with
It
the
wasn't
outcome.
peanuts, was it?
Yeah, it was peanuts.
Was it just peanuts?
No, peanuts with, and this was a little secret this time, agave syrup. So that's what gave it the sweetness.
And with it roasted, because it's like a really dark orange
So
colour.
I bought from the supermarket roasted and salted peanuts. I then rinsed them.
Like it.
Then I
Health conscious.
Then I put them back in the oven to roast them for about 10 minutes. And then I put them in the whizzer, so in the blender, with some coconut oil. So that gives it a bit of a coconutty taste, doesn't it? But you need something to help it stick together.
Yeah.
I did put a little bit of salt, and then the agave syrup. And that's...
Wow.
Yeah. And then it ends
We'll have to write this out. We'll have to put a little Helen's recipe, because if that's how easy it is to make your own nut butter...
And it tastes amazing.
It tastes amazing, and I bet it's loads cheaper than buying it as well.
I don't know. It probably is. If you make quite a bit of it, it probably is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely cheaper than buying some of the ones which cost like £4 a pop.
I've got to stay away from it, Hells. I'm on the New Year diet at the moment.
Peanut butter's okay.
Well, I think at this time of year, a calore's a calorie. I'm staring down the barrel of a lot of raw carrots and raw celery before the training camp in Fuerte. I'm going to get crushed if I don't shift a couple of kilos.
Oh, just go with lots of stir fries, lots of veg in January.
Lots of
veg,
go,
and
lots
it'll be
of
fine.
veg.
Pad everything out. Pad everything out with veg. You'll be good.
Well, it was absolutely delicious. I really appreciated it. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you.
Pleasure. We will. I will get the recipe. I'll tweet the recipe at some point. So Rob, I was going to let you know a few other bits and bobs of
more news. Come on.
Well, what other people have been up to, because you sort of think, well, you know, what has been happening? Do the pros still train at this time of year? Do they, you know, have a bit of time off? So I've pulled up a few of their Twitter feeds. So let's start off with Vicky Holland. So on Boxing Day, she was starting a race, the Winston Wish race. But basically, she's been in the UK at home, and she has been training at Malvern College for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
No recovery week for her over Christmas then, huh?
No, doesn't look like it. So Will Clark, I've already said he's been busy training, and this is going to be a common theme, so we can talk about this in a moment. But essentially, he said the other day, you know, worst day of the winter so far out there, so he's clearly been back in the UK. Good time to get out to active Lanzarote for a perfect camp. Can't wait. Yeah, this is the time of year where everyone's going, yeah, we're flying off. So that's what Will Clark's been up to.
Yeah.
Alistair Brownlee, he and Johnny have also been at home. They posted a picture on Christmas Day morning saying, celebrated Christmas this morning with our first decent run together in a long time. Merry Christmas. I think they'll have been affected by the floods a little bit. He took a photo of Harry Wiltshire cycling through a very wet road. Rachel Joyce. I think she's back in Boulder now. She's put that as much as I love my garage, it was quite nice to get out on the road today and picture this picture, which is like blue skies, and then it looks like a frozen lake but snow everywhere. It looks absolutely stunning. Anyway, she said, new year, new challenge. Racing on the 10th of January hasn't been on my radar before, but I'm game. Pucon at 70.3 in 10 days. So she's going to be racing in Chile. It must be this weekend coming.
Are they Southern Hemisphere then? Just about, or is it equatorial
Chile?
Chile?
Very southern. So it's the middle of their summer. You're sort of on a par with where Pucon is. You'd be on a par with sort of South Africa and Australia, the southern Australia. So yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Is it as far down as that?
Yeah. They're very much in their.
Oh, good knowledge.
Very much in their summer.
In their summer season.
Yeah.
Well, you'd imagine you wouldn't put one on in the middle of winter, but it's kind of hard to get your head around, isn't it?
It's mad, isn't it? I know.
And it's grey and raining outside. That somewhere else, it's people are baking in the
Well, Chile,
in the heat.
it's sort of this is the time to go. So yeah, Pucon 10th of January. She's going to be racing.
Let's save up and go next year.
Oh,
let's go and race in Chile in January. That'd be awesome.
I'd love to. I'm hoping to be in Canada in sort of late December, early January next year.
Really?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Oh, interesting.
Not going to like live out there, but
just a bit of a jolly.
See my brother. He lives
nice.
out there, so yeah, that's the plan. Looks like Leander Kay has been busy training. She's been putting lots of tweets up. Laura Siddle, who we had on earlier in December, she was definitely back in the UK for a couple of weeks, or week maybe. She put a picture of her mum's sticky toffee pudding, and then she also then has been out riding back in San Francisco, and she said it was a pretty cool welcome back to the States, and went out, and it looks like a photo of, it looks like the Golden Gate Bridge, but it might not be. But anyway, again, clear blue skies.
So she must be on her way back down to New Zealand, wasn't she? Because Wanaka will be coming up soon.
That's exactly right. So quick stop off in the States on the way. Again, another one of our Olympic hopefuls, Jodie Stimpson. She's not guaranteed a place quite yet, so she's going to be fighting out for that. She's been back in the UK. Now, she's one of the people who will have done a local run during her time back at home in the West Midlands. So she put a photo up of her doing the Tipton Sports Academy Handicap 5K.
I love that. Imagine you're a hotshot local and you turn up to the local Christmas 5K and Jodie Stimpson's there as well.
I know.
Oh, man.
And what makes it, I think, even more funny, and Emma Pallant has done similar, is that clearly a lot of these athletes spend a lot of time abroad. So generally they've all got good tans, 365 days of the year. So she is in the brightest pink vest top you can see, which, just makes her look very, very tanned. So she's
Even
had fun there.
brown.
And again, like I said, common theme. She is heading off now. Time for me to start on the journey to South Africa, Abu Dhabi, Australia, South Africa. So she's off to sunnier climes as well.
Nice.
Am I the only one who's not? This seems
Oh, hells. Yeah, but you're going off to race in Greece, aren't you?
Cyprus.
Later on.
I am. Yeah.
Cyprus, yeah.
Cyprus. Ayia
When is that? Watch out for those special energy gels in Ayia Napa. You never know what might be in them.
It's hilarious. We are racing.
When are you racing there? April.
Yeah, April. It might be the 3rd, the 6th? 3rd.
Wow.
3rd, I think. 3rd of April. At Olympic distance in Ayia Napa.
Oh, I've got to say, I'm very glad I've got this week in play task coming up.
Yeah.
It's the problem is I keep going, I've got to go out for some rides to get fit for the training camp, and it becomes this kind of self-propelling, originally you go for the idea of starting to get some winter miles in, and then you think, I'm going to get killed by everyone if I don't get some miles in before I go.
Oh.
So better get a little bit of training in this week.
It'll be great. It'll be so much
It will.
fun. It'll be really, really brilliant.
It'll be awesome. There's loads of pros out there as well.
Yeah, I saw Javier Gomez is out in Playitas.
Javier Gomez, Sebi Kienle, Jan Frodeno, Van Leerd is out there as well.
Brill. So you've got to you're taking your recorder.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we want some tri-camp audio. And
I've got this feeling that they're out there for 3 weeks from what they've written, and so they're just going to be coming
which is
back
probably why
as
there's
we're
space
going
for you
out.
to go.
Yeah. All the real athletes have left.
Exactly. Let's get the the C-listers in.
I aspire to be a C-lister. Oh
Exactly.
man.
Oh. Rob, I was going to say, I went to do a little bit of shopping yesterday.
Cool. Speaking of recorders, and did you by any chance take the opportunity to take some professional knowledge down from the shopping that you were doing?
I did. It was very,
Were
very
you
useful.
purchasing Christmas decorations?
No, I was purchasing trainers, so we can have a little listen.
Fantastic. So you've gone to a specialist running shop, and I tell you what, the number of times I've been asked as a coach, which trainers should I buy? You can go ad infinitum, can't you? And the best advice is always go and see a really good professional in a proper running shop, get your gait analysed, and listen to the advice that they give you. So which shop did you go to?
You can find out if we have a listen right now.
We'll go straight to the audio then.
I'm with Danny in Running Bear, which is a trainer sort of running shop in Alderley Edge in Cheshire. Danny, you've just helped me. You've done a good job there. You've sold 2 pairs of trainers to me. At this time of year, a lot of people are going to be looking perhaps to buy a pair of trainers. They might have signed up to a 10k or a 5k or a marathon or something. What first piece of advice would you give to someone?
Well, everyone's running style is completely different, so what I would say is definitely get your gait analysed. Over years, your gait can change a little bit, so definitely gait analysis rather than sort of going for looks and everything. Support, cushion, everything is key, really.
And people have, obviously, everybody's feet are different, right? So if you look at the different brands, generally, what brands, I don't know, what do New Balance have that maybe Nike don't, or why might you go for a different pair?
Well, the difference between most of the brands is like the cushion systems, level of support and everything, fit and feel. Some brands come up slimmer, some are broader, so that's your main differences.
Okay, yeah. So if you're looking for your first pair of trainers, what would your advice be? So go and get your gait analysis, and then what are you looking for?
Well, basically what we're looking for is to see whether foot pronates, supinates, sort of neutral, so that's all to do with your gait.
And can you just explain those different bits?
Basically, neutral is when the foot lands, stays nice and centred, there's no weight falls in or out. When the foot overpronates, it's when the weight comes on to that big toe joint, so the foot drops inwards, and then supination is the opposite, where it drops outwards. So it is really important to get the right trainer, basically.
And I'm an overpronator, aren't I?
Yes.
So you put me first of all in a pair of neutral running shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, and what did that show?
That shows that the foot's dropping in to that big toe joint. When you put in a neutral shoe, basically it lets the foot do as it pleases, really, in quite a natural motion, really. So it just lets it do as it pleases. So.
And if I bought a pair of neutral running shoes, what would actually happen? It'd probably lead to an injury, but what kind of injury?
A lot of people who overpronate and get into neutral shoes or the wrong shoe, they get a lot of problems with the lateral side of the knee. So just because that weight's dropping over, similarly they might get some ankle issues just because it's that twisting all the time. Every time you're taking a step, 500 steps in a mile roughly, it's going to cause a lot of problems with the knee, the ankle joint. So yeah.
Okay, now we've got quite a few triathletes who obviously listen to this podcast because it's a triathlon podcast. Some people might be entering a sprint triathlon, Others might be going for an Ironman. So at the end of a sprint, it's a 5k run. At the end of an Ironman, it's a marathon. Should they be looking at different pairs of trainers for that?
Potentially. I mean, with marathon trainers, you need a bit more cushioning because obviously it's more mileage, it's more stress going through the body. So potentially you'd probably want a sort of a more durable cushion shoe. But a 5k, it's not so important. It's only 5k, so you need like a light trainer unless your foot is heavily pronating. Really, you do need to go for a support shoe.
So if I'm an overpronator and I was going to get a pair of flats, would that lead to a bit of an injury?
It can do. If you're doing long distances, you would need that support definitely. 5k probably not so much, but you do, unless you're quite a heavy runner, you would need support. Yeah.
Okay. And what about non-triathlon now, ultra running? It's sort of becoming a lot more popular at the moment. Is there a difference in shopping for trainers for ultra running than if you're going and entering like a 10k?
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, you definitely need more cushioning. I don't know if you've heard of the brand Hoka.
Okay, yeah.
They're quite big at the moment. They're sort of oversized cushioning. Just there's not as much sort of going down the road. There's not as much support and everything, but their USP is really cushioning, and that's pretty much what you need really. But yeah.
So again, you just sort of suggest, if you are going down that ultra route, go to a specialist running shop and get them to advise as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
In terms of 5 tips for runners, right? Not necessarily trainers. So what would your 5 tips be? It could be trainers, it could be stretching. What sort of 5 tips would you give?
Well, number 1 is definitely trainers. Get your gait analysed, get the right pair of trainers. Like you say, stretching, making sure you're doing good stretching after running, during, making sure like you're varying your sort of runs rather than doing the same run all the time. Change your distance, change your speed, add a bit of speed training in there, hill reps, that sort of thing. Get the right running equipment, sort of the gear and everything, clothing. You don't want to be sort of all sort of getting blisters, sweatiness and that sort of thing. So definitely the right gear.
Maybe a mental tip for the 5th one. Have you got a mental?
Just stay positive, really. Don't hit the wall and don't let the wall defeat you, really. So just keep going.
Pretty awesome.
There you go. So yeah, some good top tips there from Danny. So that was Running Bear, which is a local one to us here in Cheshire. It's brilliant. They get you on the treadmill downstairs, and essentially she started off and she put me in a pair of neutral running shoes, and you ran for about, I don't know, 30 seconds a minute, and then you get off the treadmill and you look at yourself with Danny, and she's saying, look, I can see right there, you're overpronating, so therefore you need a support shoe. And it was really, really clear. And I went in with my trainers, with another pair of older trainers as well. And so the good news is I was running in the correct trainers. I just needed a new pair, and I hadn't had my gait analysed for about 10 years. And I had always had Saucony. But I don't do Saucony, I don't think, at Running Bear. Or maybe they only have a limited number. So I now have a new pair of Brooks.
Oh, nice. I'll be interested to get some feedback on that in a week or two and see how they're working out for you.
Yeah, definitely. And this was quite funny, actually. I wanted a pair of trail shoes as well. So I have a pair of their own shoes, which they're trying to develop, called Mountain Bear.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, because I bought the running trainers, and then they said, oh, well, the Mountain Bear ones, at the moment they're only 25 quid if you buy a normal pair of road shoes. So I was like, well, I'll give it a go for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're very they're kind of quite, basically they're quite like Innovate trainers, which are very
those kind of off-roady, low amount of padding, really good grippy.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I've worn them before, and they're really, really good. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go and see how we get on with them. So there you go, 2 new pairs of trainers.
Nice. We went up to Edinburgh over New Year, and I went and ran up Arthur's Seat the day after New Year's Day, and it was just in my standard road shoes. And I'd kind of gone off the path for a bit of fun and got into the rocks, and I was like, what the hell am I doing here? It was really slippery, and I was thinking, nobody knows I'm here. I've not got my phone with me.
No.
I'm going to die on this mountain and no one's going to find me. But I got to the top all right, and I was thinking, it really is time that you got yourself some proper off-road shoes that are grippy, getting into the mountains with something grippy. So I want to go down and give those a try, Hells.
Definitely go down, and they've got various pairs, and all my only tip, because I've done quite a bit of off-road running, but I haven't done specific mountain running or fell running, but I know you can get specific fell running shoes or more ones for mountain running. But yeah, if you are doing off-road running, seriously do invest in a pair of trail shoes.
Yeah.
They really do make a difference.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I'll go down and check those out. Great little running shop, Running Bear in Alderley Edge. If anyone's anyone's relatively local and is after going to check it out, they're a really nice staff, I know, aren't they, that know the stuff.
Really, really
so
helpful.
Highly recommended, which is really good. Now, I put a little shout out on Facebook a couple of days ago to find out one of the best things about New Year, I think, is setting yourself a little target and getting yourself ready to rock and roll and entering a race. So I put up on the Ironman group, what's your first triathlon of the year going to be on the way to Ironman Glory? And we've got Mike Horton saying Pendle, bargain at £35 entry. Paul Lewis says East Coast Tri. Debbie Jones says Slate Man. Matt Brown says the Pirate DIY half for me. I'll have to look into that.
Nice.
That sounds cool,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Andy Grimmer says it'll be Horwich for me. Becky Hawes, another Slate Man. Sean Crowley says the East Coast for me too, unless you're counting duathlons, which maybe we should do. I like duathlons. Julianne Troth says Slate Man is fab. David Merrington says I've signed up for Slate Man too. Richard Mark says Slate Man. Loads there.
Pop you on.
Dino Splan says World Triathlon Series in Leeds. Joe Boyce says first one done on the road to Lanza, New Year's Day triathlon in Edinburgh. Dino, I was desperate to do that.
Now,
That'd have been awesome.
I can give you actually with this one top 3 there for male and female.
Oh yeah, do it.
Okay, so Craig Dale won that one in an hour and 1 minute. Paul Davis was second in 1:05:49. Marcus Taylor third in 1:07:44. Third overall actually was Leslie Patterson. She is a Scottish triathlete pro who is an off-road. She does Xterra, doesn't she?
She does, really
fascinating
she's seriously
person.
sharp.
Yeah, and does she writes? She does like film stuff. Honestly,
right?
yeah, we need to speak to her. Anyway, she came third overall in 1:07:39. Deborah Dixon, second female, 1:18, and Maura Green, third female in 1:20.
I've never been up around Arthur's Seat before, and what an amazing venue for a race that is, with a beautiful road that goes all the way around it, close to traffic, and the number of cyclists I passed on there. It was just brilliant. And you're about a 3-minute run from the centre of Edinburgh. It's bonkers.
Oh, no, honestly,
so
absolutely.
Get some people entering that next year. I missed my window there, really. I should just have manned up and
done it.
I was trying to play that be with a family at New Year kind of thing, but I think they'd have been happy to have me out of the house, to be honest.
Probably like, I need to get out.
Robert Grundy says I'm doing the immortal half at Stourhead, and Kate Lindsley, the wonderful Kate from Raceforce, Mallorca 70.3.
Nice.
If I can make it through the London Marathon without issues.
To make it through Bowland, whatever, with Helen Murray without issues.
You don't run her off the road at Bowland.
Oh goodness, no, I'll try not to. Well, also on our Twitter, which is @CupOfTry, Jason Warwick said he did a New Year dip at Salford Quays. Oh my goodness. That's not for me. He said it was a bit fresh. Great turnout though. And Paul, who is at West1Ent on Twitter, he told us that he, congratulations, he just got a PB in a 5K by 38 seconds, which for January the 1st is pretty good going.
That's pretty sharp, isn't it, when you'd imagine everyone's hungover and overweight.
Totally. So, yeah.
Good season ahead for you, mate.
Well done, Paul. Well done, Jason. And one other one, Rob, that I noticed was so Emma Pallant, who, again, we had on towards the end of last year, the duathlon world champion, she put a picture up that she had done a race in London, as had her Team Dillon teammate, Stu Hayes. So Emma, a bit like Jodie Stimpson, was in, shorts, vest top, like showing off the tan. Stu Hayes there in like full-on long leggings and a cycling top.
Good lad, Stu. Probably ridden down, hadn't he? Probably ridden an hour and a half to get there.
Too much time in the Southern Hemisphere, I think.
Oh, good for them.
And one other thing, Rob, before we go, is we've had a few more people supporting the Cup of Tri.
We've had a few more people sign up as patrons, which we really appreciate. So we said we'd read people out as they came in. We've got a big thank you to Oliver Saxon and Andy Carey signing up as patrons on through our website. And then also we had a nice little bonus from the wonderful young Joe Skipper, didn't we?
Oh, legend. Such a star.
Joe Skipper signed up to be a patron as well, so how nice is that?
Oh, thank you so much, and we both know how much you've helped us out this year and supported us, and did a damn good job standing in when I was not around, so Thank you so much.
You watch your back, Helen, he was good.
I know. You'll need him on again.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up with him in the new year. He's racing New Zealand, isn't he? So let's definitely get him on after his race in New Zealand. And just to tie it up before we finish, Hells, we're going to have a word from our sponsor, I think. I just want to say thank you to the people who signed up on the advanced mailing list for Team Oxygen Addicts. We've had a nice little bit of interest there. we've put a new page up on the website, and basically my partner and I are still working out the details for Team OA. So we've decided we're going to go live on the 18th of January, which gives us 2 weeks from today to get our acts together.
Fantastic.
So if people are interested in the pre-sign up, you can just go over to oxygenaddict.com/team, pop in your name and your email address, and as soon as we've got the details to release, which we're thinking is going to be the middle to the end of this week, we're going to give those details out to people. The basic deal is going to be, if you are training initially for Ironman, and we're gonna work out the kinks with the Ironman athletes, and then we're going to open it up for Sprint Olympic and half Ironman distance athletes as well. You're going to get your training plan. You're going to get a private, some kind of forum or Facebook group to communicate with your other teammates and with me as well. So you get a chance to ask all those questions where, if you're following a training plan written from a magazine or from a book and you're not sure what to do when you get sick for a week, or you miss something because you've got a family commitment, or you need to rejig the training sessions, you'll have support from me to ask, what do I cut, what do I bounce, what do I move where and when, and also to kind of, to ask, why am I doing this? Because a number of comments I've been reading on the Facebook groups at the minute about, I'm following this plan and I don't really understand why I'm doing this. And then someone else weighs in and says, well, you guys should be doing really hard intervals at this time of year. And someone else says, well, you should just be sticking in zone 1 and zone 2. And someone else says, you should just be doing this. It's really like, I've shied away from getting involved in it, because in an open forum, everyone's got their own opinion, haven't they?
Totally.
And kind of, it's frustrating, because you want to say to people, look, this is what I've learned. So this is hopefully going to be the bonus of the private forum. We're going to have people who are all on the same plan and all understand why they're doing it, and just kind of take away that worry from people's minds. And for the people who pre-sign up, there's going to be a more than 50% discount.
Fantastic.
We've decided, with our stupid business sense, you're going to hold on to this 50% discount for the duration of the time that you decide to be in the team. It won't just be like an initial month or something. So if it sounds interesting, get yourself over to oxygenaddict.com/team. Just pop your name and your email address in there. There's no commitment, and when the details come out, you get kind of first dibs on deciding whether you get to sign up early with the discount.
Brill.
Hopefully that's not too much of a hard sell, Hells.
Well, when you did say about questioning why you're doing this, I thought generally, when you do get to the midpoint of training for something big and you do sit back and you think, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
The bigger, what?
The bigger, oh my God, what have I chewed off here?
Yeah, because we love it and it is achievable, and it's good to test yourself and meet lots of other like-minded people. And just have fun. There's more to life than sitting at a desk.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And so many people are not in a club, or they can't get to club sessions, and they need like the supportive community around them. So that's what we're aiming to create, a club for people who are not in a club or can't get to the club.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it.
That's the idea.
So that is oxygenaddict.com. We are also on Facebook, Facebook.com/Cup of Try, or search for Cup of Try on Facebook. And on Twitter, we are at Cup of Try. And we've enjoyed being back for 2016, and we will be back again next week.
We will indeed. We're going to have our interviews cracking on this week. So from next week, we will have the first of our New Year interviews up live and ready to go. So watch this space for more news. I don't want to spoil it by saying who's going to be on, because I don't know whether I'm going to be able to make the Skype interviews work yet, Helen.
I will cross my fingers.
Yes, indeed. So by the time next issue comes out, we'll have an update on your Open 5 Bowland adventure, won't we?
Good God. Yep.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm scared.
All right, everybody, have a cracking start to your new year. It's only a short one today, but get yourself out there training in the extra half hour we've allowed you. Get some work done, and we'll be catching up with you next week for tales of Helen's slippery mud fun in the forest. You've been listening to the Cup of Try podcast. I'm Coach Rob Wilby.
And I'm Helen Murray.
Until next week, have an awesome, awesome time, and we'll speak to you again soon. Cheers now.